Hey, it is Silly Kelly here. I have a lightsaber. It's really late at night on Christmas Day. Oh, guys, it's gotta be like 10:30 or something. Okay, here's a list of the movies that we saw this year. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Inside Out. The Good Dinosaur. Mad Max Fury Road. Spy. James Bond Spectre. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Ant-Man. Avengers 2. The Age of Ultron. The Hunger Games 4. The Mockingjay Part 2. Yeah. The Maze Runner 2. The Scorched Trials. The Martian. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Trainwreck. Everest 2015. Ex Machina. Jurassic World. The Peanuts Movie. Ted 2. Vacation 2015. Terminator Genesis. American Ultra. Cinderella. The Minions Movie. Furious 7. Tomorrowland. 50 Shades of Grey. Jupiter Ascending. SpongeBob 2. The Sponge Out of Water. Shaun the Sheep the Movie. Here's some list of movies that pretty much guessed the ending of and didn't see. The Gift, Southpaw, Fantastic Four 2015, The Visit, Krampus, might see the Krampus tomorrow. Selfless, San Andreas, Pixels, Victor Frankenstein, Chappie, Gem and the Holograms, Poltergeist 2014, The Vatican Tapes, Rock the Casbah, Meant to See, the movie Bridge of Spies, Creed, and Joy. Haven't seen those yet. Yeah, there was no dramas on that list. None. Action, adventure, and fantasy comedy. There were some. Well, for this year, we had 2 or 3 really good sci-fi movies. We had The Martian, Star Wars, a couple of good ones there. Jurassic World was good. But we had a lot of mediocre ones. We had Tomorrowland, which was just okay. We had Fury Road, which was really good. Really excellent. Mad Max Part 4. We had, Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was an okay movie, actually. Rogue Nation was alright. And it's hard to choose which ones would be nominated. So the nominations for the Clarabelle Awards, this would be the 6th annual. Yeah, The Martian and Star Wars would be 2 of them. Maybe Jurassic World, 3 of them. For science fiction movie and fantasy. In the animated movie category, we would have 2 Pixar movies. We have the Good Dinosaur, and we also have Inside Out, which 2 Pixar movies in the same year. It's pretty amazing. We've had some really amazing movies. We also, Mad Max Fury Road should be there for action adventure, not sci-fi, because it wasn't really sci-fi. It was action adventure. Apocalyptic thriller should be for that category. So that would be one of them. Spectre was okay. It was an alright James Bond movie. The Peanuts movie was an alright animated movie. It was okay. It's about maybe, it wasn't the best thing ever. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't the best thing ever. So... And Spy was a pretty funny movie in the comedy category. Didn't see Creed. Well, this is going to be short. Ex Machina was good, but not great. Almost no horror there. Yep. In the category, Hotel Transylvania 2 was listed there, but shouldn't be on the list, really. It was just okay. Tomorrowland would be under bad, I think. Yeah, that movie was a mess. But I think if there's going to be a bad category this year, Jupiter Ascending for that category for science fiction is truly bad. It's laughably really, really bad. However, Fantastic Four and Pixels is actually worse. I think I would rather sit through Jupiter Ascending again than sit through Pixels and Fantastic Four all the way. Oh my god. Well, yeah, so they're worse, I would say. I mean, at least Jupiter Ascending has unintentional funny lines like "I love dogs." What the heck? God, this is terrible. Sort of like my reaction to like Speed Racer back in the day. It's like, okay, this movie's really bad, and it has nothing whatsoever to do with the cartoon, except that he looks kind of like him vaguely. Other than that, yeah, yeah. Well, and Star Wars, of course, was really awesome. We had another opinion on Star Wars actually this evening. K.O. Dan was on set from SAP. Also, we had Sparkle and Pop. Pop hasn't seen it yet, and so we had some of the cast from Dolly Stories on the set. You could see them in a few clips from the Christmas video. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey was no. I guess that would be drama, but no. The problem with 50 Shades of Grey was that it wasn't porno enough. The book is extremely graphic and dirty and sleazy. The movie is trying to make it romantic somehow, but failing because the actors have no chemistry. Like, no, in the book they had chemistry, even if it was dumb chemistry. Even if it had lines like, oh, ooh, he put his fingers in my, whatever, and I was excited. Or it's like, okay, whatever. But it's like the irony of this is this book series was like really popular among menopausal women because they liked that. I don't know, but they did. They liked the book. They liked the idea of the book. This young woman and the surly rich guy. I'm not saying all of them. Some of them, a lot of them did, and so they went into the theaters in droves to see the movie version because, oh my goodness, they're going to make a movie version of it. But even a lot of them said, well, no, it should have been NC-17 because yeah, they took out all the stuff that made the book like erotic and stuff, and made it like toned down and made it R. It's like, what? No, you can't do that. I guess so they could have it at Walmart and Target and not get in trouble. But the irony is that the book could be at Walmart and Target as long as it's printed. Once it was a movie, they weren't too sure about it. Nah, it really was pretty tame and stupid. Like, really boring. Because, yeah. But, yeah, I'm not here to do a review of it. Yeah. So, Clara Awards. Oh, yeah, Chappie was a sci-fi movie, too. It's kind of like RoboCop. But with apartheid. RoboCop. Yeah, another one by Blomkamp, who can't do a movie that isn't about that. For some reason. 3 movies now. Like, dude, do you have any other ideas? Any? Elysium was kind of the same idea. Ooh, the rich super upper class and the downtrodden lower class. The rich super upper class are up in the sky. Now it's a robot that's being pressed instead, but in the lower class, and the super upper class is out to get him. Yeah, I come up with something else. Let's see. Star Wars. Yeah, I really like that. I was gonna say that K.O. Dan watched it, and that he had kind of the same ideas as we did saw it. That it was it's very good. It seemed to be a New Hope rebooted like they did with Star Trek '09 in a way, and Star Trek in Darkness in a way. But better than the bad guy Kylo Ren makes a better Khan than the guy that played, because Cumberbatch wasn't playing, he wasn't Khan, but yeah, he shouldn't have been Khan. He should have been somebody else, just anybody else. It didn't need to be Khan. Just didn't need to be. Good movie, but didn't need to be Khan. But yeah, Kylo Ren's a better bad guy, but still he's not Vader. It's like, yeah, so. He starts to become like Vader. He's a Vader fanboy. Yeah, so gave you the nominees. The Martian is very good. It was done by that Andy Weber guy. Everybody says that on the net that he's a relative unknown that got first aired the book on the internet, and then that book on the internet and self-published, and then a publishing company found it, and then Ridley Scott directed his movie, and they got the guy that he wanted. It was already made for him that they were going to get David to play him and everything. And it's like, okay, yeah, he's not an unknown, first of all. It may look like he's an unknown to those who don't know, that are out there going like, oh, see, it's like Ron Moore or something. He's like, oh my gosh, it's like Ron Moore. Or like some of these other authors that have done like an artsy movie or artsy story, and now they're famous. No, he was already famous somewhere else. He was a famous astrophysicist, scientist guy. Weird. And because he was a famous astrophysicist, scientist guy, he knew Tyson and all these other people, and he knew people. He totally had connections. He wasn't an unknown. He knew people. Even if he'd never done that particular genre as science fiction before, for that particular medium, he was known. Totally. It's not like Ron Moore at all. And that's fine. He totally could ask him. He'd be like, yeah, of course he was. How else would he get Ridley Scott to direct his movie? He'd have to. It would be like if Kal Kat, came up with an awesome story and they did a book thing. He couldn't get Ridley Scott to direct Distant Destinies or Starcrackers. He wouldn't do it. He'd probably end up getting the guy who directed Looper or something, or it would be like Terrence Malick or something. He would agree to do it. Then it would take 10 years. And it would be terrible if Terrence Malick directed this. No, Terrence. Guy from Looper, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I call my people. No, just kidding. But, yeah, Clara Awards, those are the nominees. The nominees are Star Wars, The Martian, Mad Max, and, yeah, pretty much for the science fiction fantasy. The nominees for the horror movie would be The Gift and The Visit. And even though The Gift was really obvious, the ending and everything, not really. There just weren't a lot of good movies this year. It kind of sucks. We have a week left of good movies, and really, unless Joy becomes the most awesome movie about a lady who has a mop ever, Creed, I guess, is good, but I haven't seen it. His Rocky Balboa was decent, but there should be a separate category for sequels, I would think. Even for Mad Max 4, which is really awesome. It's sort of a retelling. It's kind of like a reboot. I'm thinking that with the animation category, Inside Out probably is going to win, just because that, even though the visuals, the backgrounds of the dinosaur movie are more photorealistic, Inside Out is more cartoonish, but that's fine. And I think they should kind of be separate entities almost. I mean, and yeah, I'd nominate them, but Inside Out is the clear winner in terms of the story. It's just more accessible. Dinosaur story may not appeal to everybody, whereas Inside Out would appeal to everybody. It's just an awesome, awesome movie. Like the Frozen of this year. So, we have, although some would say Tangled was a better movie than Frozen. It is a better character movie than Frozen. There's some real stinkers here, too, in the comedy category. We got Ted 2. Oy, God, what a terrible movie. I reviewed it. I reviewed it with a Teddy Ruxpin. It was pretty funny. Yes, yeah, Clarabelle Awards. Went off on a tangent about something else. It's late. On New Year's Eve, I will read off the winners. And then in February, when they do the Oscars, we will have an Oscar recap blog while it's being aired, an Oscar live blog. And we will find out what movies will win the Oscar. And I'm sure it's going to be a popularity contest yet again. But this time, not a lot of Best Pictures. Not a lot of blockbuster super pictures out there. It's entirely possible that for the first time ever, Oscar will have to nominate a fantasy cartoon, Inside Out, and a fantasy movie, Star Wars, for something. That would be crazy. It would be like, yeah, Be like, well, all right. Yeah, Star Wars. Or The Martian. The Martian could actually get... I mean, considering the way that it's done, it's science fiction, but it's science. It's a hard science fiction. So, yeah, so... I see no reason The Martian couldn't get sci-fi and drama as a it is a drama. It's not an action picture. It might be the first sci-fi action adventure movie in a long time to actually get something like that. Now, not to say that Gravity didn't get the thing too. Gravity did. Interstellar wasn't as good as Gravity, actually. So it didn't. But yeah, so it did happen before. It did happen with Interstellar. And it's happened many, many years ago as well. I believe E.T. won some Oscars back in the day. And Star Trek the Motion Picture and the original Star Wars also won something or other. Special effects or something. The original Star Wars was out for a very long time in theaters. Back then, you just aired a movie for a year or just had it in theaters. Jurassic World was good. It was a good sequel to the first two movies. And it ignores the other ones. But it's not Best Picture. It just isn't. And none of the Marvel movies this year were... I mean, Ant-Man's there and Avengers 2 is there. But yeah, again, just good but not great. Anyway, that's the end of the review of the Clara Awards preamble thingy, and I have not seen any dramas, so I can't really rate them. Hunger Games doesn't count. Fury Road doesn't count. Fury Road is a really awesome remake type of movie done by the director of the original. But it well, yeah, it is one of the most awesome movies of the year. But yeah, an acquired taste though. It's a Mad Max movie. Audience did love it. Did make a buttload of money. Star Wars has already made as much in just a week. Oh, jeez. Well, it's a Star Wars movie. It's been 10 years since the last Star Wars movie. Hard to believe that it's been 10 years since The Revenge of the Sith. It also helped that I had tea at the same time, so I probably threw off the taste of it. Yes. Rather distinct palate. Nah. Ah, yes, Sideways. I'm making fun of that. That was a movie that years ago that I really didn't care for, except for like 3 parts in it. And yeah, it was like I reviewed it already, but I was like, it was that kind of movie where all the critics were fawning all over it, including Mark's Cards. And I was like, no, this movie has like 3 funny scenes in it, and the ending is crap. I don't like it when a movie has a crappy ending. It's like, oh, come on, Hollywood, really? You know, like when they got to the end of There Would Be Blood, or they got to the end of the other one. You know, and really, Brokeback Mountain's highly overrated. But yeah, many of those movies were. Interesting to note that many Oscar movies are on the bargain bin by Christmas. From those 8, 9, 10 months later, they're on the bargain bin. As I actually saw in action, I went to Black Friday to Target, and there was the run movies for sale there on the bin. They weren't quite on the bargain bin, but they were close. They were like $10. It's pretty much, you know, usually a movie, if it's popular, I think like a Marvel movie will still be $30 right now. $28, maybe 23. But if it's $10, it's practically on the bargain bin. It's half off. So basically, more than half off. That's basically saying, okay, this movie sucks, and we want to get rid of it. We made too many of them because we thought it would be popular because it's an Oscar movie. There it was, Oscar movie, Oscar movie, Oscar movie, Oscar movie. Yeah. Including Boyhood. I should have bought one. It was only $10. Oh. Boyhood was last year. I don't say this much for Boyhood. You admire the tenacity of making a movie that takes them 13 years. in that literally it took them 13 years. That isn't that they were slacking off. They just wanted to make a movie that lasted that long. That's pretty amazing. Now, I've done that very thing. I've done that as well. A fan film, I was in Starcrackers. And that did take us several years. In fact, we didn't really get it right until literally 19 years later, in 2012. We had actually been working on that movie. It was 1992. It was like half done. We'd never finished it. We went back in 2005. We added a little bit to try and finish it. It didn't quite work. So we went back and we'd found another print by 2010 of the movie. One of our older prints. And we were saying, well, we can actually repair this because we have that older print. We can use the footage that actually looks okay, put it back into it and prepare it and then put it on YouTube, which we did. And Starcrackers literally took 19 years to finally complete and get it right. That's, Starcrackers, our science fiction movie. Not Terrence Malick, mind you, but definitely, in that case, we were just incompetent. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to film anything. When we started doing that, we were in high school and college. We didn't have any clue as to how to film a movie. We just did it. We were like, oh, we can do a movie. We've gotten better, though. Transformers meets Robotech from a decade ago. That took about 5 or 6 years altogether. That's actually pretty awesome and brilliant miniseries thing, so go and check that out. And I know we're getting better at it, because even though Star Trek Chimera is taking a long time as well, we're trying to get it right. We want to get it right. And it has taken over 5 years. We filmed the very first scene was shot before the script was even done in 2006, so it was almost, almost 10 years ago. But it wasn't done. We just shot that last scene and then went back. It wasn't really done at all. So, we continued that. Star Trek. This last decade, we've been doing that. However, we whipped out a Robotech fan film just recently. Clint Cowpool and I put that together. And did that, shot that in about 8.5 days, because we had an idea and a story, and we shot it with G.I. Joes on the Chimera sets. And then went back 4 months later, 3 or 4 months later, this month, December, and shot 12 days more of it, with effects and all that included. So we essentially reshot a lot of it, cut it back, put it back together, and made a pretty awesome nod to the fans Robotech thing, added all together to make it cohesive. About 30 more minutes from a 65-minute featurette with there were 3 episodes initially together, about 22 minutes long, and now there's essentially one more, one and a quarter more, and there, so that was cool, and we did that, and the Robotech thing is really awesome. And also improved the Weird Kitty 07 channel. More reviews, more commentaries. And now it has the highest rated video this season of both channels. It has a review of a Skyfighter. There's over 700. Wow. Can't believe that many people are watching that. Well, yeah. Keep watching. Anyway, I'm done. Oh, yeah. Are we recording? Oh, yep. We're recording. Yeah. And there was a big party. And one thing led to another. Oh, God. So anyway, when you're in Hollywood, that's what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do, if you know what I mean. You wanna get in Hollywood. Oh, shit. Well, anyway, I'm supposed to read the Clarabelle Awards. Kal Kat here. But it's gonna be interesting. 'Cause Oh shit. So I got the movies written down here on this piece of paper. Yeah, I'll turn this off. Stupid. Oh shit. Oh god. Ah. No barf bucket around here now. Alright. Now let's see. I'm only partly kidding about that. Only partly. Okay, there's a list of movies Kal Kat saw. Take off the glasses here. Do it like a teacher here. Old lady school marm. Okay. Okay, here. I'll take the glasses off. Shit. Oh. Ah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Whew. Oh, shit. I have a cold. Everybody's got one. It's going around, so here we are live. Try to pull this off. Alright, now. Yeah, you thought it was like high, but no. I just have a cold. But anyway, I'm gonna get some water here. But yes, let's take a break here for a second. Oh, yeah, so, yeah. Wow, so there we go. Oh, shit. It'll be alright. No, it wasn't nose candy. I just put my finger on my... So anyway, so that's... I've had so much sugar and candy. And a wee bit of pint of wine. Because you've got to have a wee bit of pint of wine. The wine was called Ménage à Trois. So it's French. It means a group of three. It is also a double entendre. Fortunately, the only people in the room were relatives, so I was not going to have a ménage à trois. Because, ew, gross. So yes, a ménage à trois. Out of many, yes. But that was the name of the wine. Very, very sweet, sour wine. It had a slight hint of berries and citrus in it.